Hello, welcome back. So this is another video about my GCP learning path, and here we go. Last time I introduced a new course. I started the introduction. I completed actually the introduction module, and I defined this use case as part of the exercises, which I will open here. And I defined my Cicero case study. Just to remember, this will be tour in my city, 101 tour in my city, or yeah, just a small group tour in my city. Okay, so the users will receive a link to a form. So first of all, we have a fucking hell. Okay, they describe how much time and what budget they have to spend in my city. They will provide details about themselves in the same form. Details which we describe them as people and as intentions related to the trip. I will reply them with a full managed itinerary based on the information. During the whole experience, since they send the initial form, they will receive credentials to a dashboard, which will be available during the whole trip and after. In the dashboard, they will be able to consult all the itinerary details, share further information, share feedback on past itinerary items and future ones. For example, the vehicle which we'll use to move around the places to be visited and other activities. Moreover, they will be able to view photos my staff took, which will be in high resolution and always downloadable. After a trip, they will have 1 month, blah, blah, blah. The whole system is integrated with social media. Yeah. So the organization internals will have access to one or more trips to social media integrations, which will recollect posts and offer stats about the visible trips. The staff will have its version of the dashboard to administrate the trips. Okay. So yeah, the roles. Let's underline this. So these are the features and this is the description. Okay, the roles of typical users are the trip director, the customer support, trip guide, the chauffeur, the customers, and not authenticated viewers, which may be also interesting to have as visitors. Okay. Now the next exercise will be this one, and let's see when it comes, maybe here. So module overview.
In this module, we focus on defining services. A new development begins with the planning and design phases. These require information gathering starting with business requirements. Once the requirements are defined, it is important to measure that they're providing business value. In this module, we will look at gathering requirements and then techniques for measuring the impact of these solutions. Let's take a closer look at what we will cover. In this module, you will learn to describe users of a system in terms of the roles and personas they take. These users will then help define and refine the qualitative requirements, which will be captured in the form of user stories.
So describe users. Okay, this is the first exercise. Write qualitative requirements with user stories. Write quantitative requirements using key performance indicators. Use smart criteria to evaluate your service requirements. Determine appropriate SLO and SLIs for your service.
These provide a context for the architectural design and subsequent technical decisions you will make as a cloud architect. Example of business requirements include accelerating the pace of software development, reducing capital expenditure, and reducing time to recover incidents. The technical requirements of your systems are both the functional and non-functional features required. To help identify the most important requirements and measure impact, you will learn how to measure success using key performance indicators, or KPIs. We will also discuss the importance of using smart criteria when defining KPIs. We'll finish by considering the most suitable service level objectives, or SLOs, and service level indicators, or SLIs.
Let's go.
Service level agreements, or SLAs. Let's start talking about requirements, analysis, and design. Useful questions to ask a cloud architect to help build the requirements are who, what, why, when, and how. The who
Like a journalist.
not only the user of the system, but also the developers and stakeholders. The aim is to build a full picture of who the system will affect, both directly and indirectly. The what is both simple and difficult. We need to establish the main areas of functionality required, but in a clear, unambiguous manner. Why the system is needed is a really important question. What is a problem the proposed system aims to address or solve? Without a clear understanding of the need, it is likely that extra requirements will be added. The why will also potentially help in defining KPIs and SLOs and SLAs. When helps determine a realistic timeline and can help contain the scope. How helps to determine a lot of the non-functional requirements. These could be, for instance, how many users the system needs to support concurrently. What is the average payload size of service requests? Are there latency requirements, etc.? They could be that the users will be located across the world or in a particular region only. All of these requirements are vital to capture because they impact the potential solution you, as a cloud architect, will provide. In the previous design activity, you defined user roles for your application. Roles represent the goal of a user at some point, and they enable the analysis of a requirement in a particular context. It is important to note that a role is not necessarily a person. It is an actor on the system, and it could be another system such as a microservice client that is accessing another microservice. The role should describe the user's objective when using the system. For example, the role of a shopper on an e-commerce application clearly defines what the user wants to do. There are many ways to determine the roles for the requirement you're working on. One process that works particularly well is, first, brainstorm an initial set of roles. Write as many roles as you can think of, with each role being a single user. Now, organize this initial set. Here you can identify overlapping roles and related roles and group these together. With the set of roles now grouped, consolidate the roles. The aim here is to consolidate and condense the roles to remove duplication. Finally, refine the roles, including internal and external roles, and the different usage patterns. Here, extra information can be provided, such as the user's level of expertise in the domain or the frequency of use of the proposed software. Following a simple process like this provides structure and brings focus to the task. Identifying user roles is a useful technique as part of the requirements gathering process. An additional technique, in particular for more important roles, can be to create a persona for the role. A persona is an imaginary representation of a user role. The aim of the persona is to help the architect and developers think about the characteristics of users by personalizing them. Often, a role has multiple personas. Consider the example of requirements for a banking application. We can think in terms of users of the system, and many requirements can be gathered this way. Using personas can provide further insights. For example, Jocelyn is a person who's a busy working mom. Jocelyn wants to save time and money, as well as perform these standard banking operations online and receive benefits such as cashback. Using a persona helps build a fuller picture of the requirements. For instance, Jocelyn's wanting to save time indicates that the tasks to be performed should possibly be automated, which affects latency and service design. In this example, when a question arises from the architect or maybe a developer, they can often better answer that question by thinking, what would Jocelyn want here? Now, user stories describe one thing a user wants the system to do. They are written in a structured way, typically using the form as a type of user, I want to do something so that I can get some benefit. Another commonly used form is given some context, when I do something, then this should happen. So when writing stories, give each story a title that describes its purpose as a starting point. Follow this with a concise one-sentence description of the story that follows one of the forms just described. This form describes the user role, what they want to do, and why they want to do it. As an example, consider a banking system and a story to determine the available balance of a bank account. The title of the story could be Balance Inquiry. Then, following the template, we describe the story as an account holder. I want to check my available balance at any time of day, so I am sure not to overdraw my account. This explains the role, what they want to do, and why they want to do it. User stories provide a clear and simple way of agreeing to requirements with a customer/end user. The invest criteria can be used to evaluate good user stories. Let me go through each letter of these criteria. Independent. A story should be independent to prevent problems with prioritization and planning. Negotiable. They are not written contracts, but are used to stimulate discussion between customer and developers until there is a clear agreement. They add collaboration. Valuable. Stories should provide value to users. Think about outcomes and impact, not outputs and deliverables. Estimatable. The story must be estimatable. If it is not, it often indicates missing details or estimate should provide value to users. Think about outcomes and impact, not outputs and deliverables. Estimatable. The story must be estimatable. If it is not, it often indicates missing details or the story is too large. Small. Good stories should be small. This helps keep scope small and therefore less ambiguous and supports fast feedback from users. Testable. Stories must be testable so that developers can verify that the story has been implemented correctly and validate when the requirement has been met/is done.
Okay. Now,
In this design activity, you're going to work on activities 2A and 2B of the design workbook. In the first activity, you define roles. For an online store, examples of roles might be account holder, shopper, customer, administrator, and seller. Roles are played by people, and different people playing the same role might be significantly different. In activity 2A, you will write some user personas. Personas are stories that describe typical people playing some role while using your system. It's important to understand your users when designing a system, so it's important to write some personas. Now, in a real project, you should find some users and interview them. For this course, feel free to use your imagination. In activity 2B, you will write some user stories. User stories are short, one-sentence descriptions of your application's features. In the first activity, you listed some features. Now, turn those features into user stories. Write your user stories in the form as a, and then you fill in the role, I want to, and then tell me your goal, so that, and you say why this is important to you. For example, an online store might have a feature to search for products. The user story might be, as a shopper, I want to be able to quickly search for products by name, keyword, or category, so I can quickly find information about products I want to purchase. Here's an example persona. Jocelyn is a busy working mom who wants to access Megacorp Bank to check her account balances and make sure that there are enough funds to pay for her kids' music and sports lessons. She also uses the website to automate payments of bills and see her credit account balances. Jocelyn wants to save time and money. She wants a credit card that gives her cash back. Here's an example user story for a feature, balance inquiry. As a checking account holder, I want to check my available balance at any time of day so that I'm sure not to overdraw my account.
Okay, nice. There's a lot to bring with us.
In this second activity, you were asked to write personas and user stories for your case study. Here are a couple of
Okay, let's go. So first of all, we have to define some personas and then create some, define some stories. Okay, let's go. Create 2 user personas that describe typical users of your application. Add a new slide for each persona. Oh, come on. Okay, so this will be my first persona. And okay, so Jocelyn, I will just reuse this. Jocelyn is a busy working mom who wants to access Cicero website to check what can she obtain, what options does she have as what is the organization check what type of tours do they offer. I mean, this is kind of wants to access Caesar website to check what type of tours do they offer. Josie is a busy working man who wants to organize a trip to a foreign city with her kids. She opens the link received from a friend and starts filling the form describing herself and what she expects as as a person having a trip, traveler. She also uses the website to check every detail about the trip. Once it has been defined. Jocelyn wants to save time and money, and she wants a fully managed tour around luxury tour around a foreign unknown. She wants for her and her family. Fully managed luxury tour around a foreign unknown city. Okay. Second persona, let's go. So we first of all duplicate directly this slide. And in this case, we have a different persona, which is called Pierre. He's a busy working young professional who wants to organize a trip to a foreign unknown city with his girlfriend and other couples. No, let's see. With his girlfriend only. He opens the link received from a friend and starts filling the form describing himself and what he expects as a traveler. He also uses the website to check every detail about the trip once it has been defined. Pierre wants to Pierre is a detail focused person and wants to, and after checking every detail about the whole trip, he wants to propose some changes. Adding something which is missing relatively to his interests. Instead, Jocelyn she is a romantic person who loves photos and sharing this with friends and family. Therefore, she wants to be able to scroll the entire itinerary timeline showing her friends where she have been, what did she saw, and some photos of her and her kids. Okay. So we've been asked to create two users persona. Yeah, then I can imagine other personas which may be problematic personas which need customer support. Maybe they're not satisfied with something, therefore someone has to assist them. Okay, so now we have the user stories. Create 3 user stories for the roles you defined earlier. Create a new slide for each story. Therefore, we need 3 stories. We go. First of all, we delete this. Oh, come on. Okay. What the fuck is happening here? Okay. Example user story. This will be first user story. Balance inquiry. As a checking account holder, I want to check my available balance at any time of day so that I am sure not to overdraw my account. So just needs to be working manager wants to save money and she wants a credit card that gives her back. Bills. To check her account balance and make sure that there are enough funds to pay. Okay. So for each sentence for the person, we extract the story. Here for Jocelyn, it's a busy working mom who wants to organize a trip to a foreign unknown city with her kids. She opens the link received from a friend and starts filling the form describing herself and what she expects as a traveler. Okay, therefore, as a traveler, I want to be able to express everything relevant about what I expect from my trip so that I'm sure not to lose, to spend time in a banal trip, spend time in a trip with which I do not so I'm not recognizing myself. No, I do not resonate with something. I do not picture myself in something. What's the correct word? As a traveler, I want to be able to express everything relevant about what I expect from my trip so that I am sure not to spend time in a trip with which I do not identify. So, okay. To express everything about me and what I expect from my trip so that I'm sure not to spend time in a trip which I do not identify with. Okay. So this will be deleted. Oh, fuck. Yeah, okay. So traveler interview form. Okay, let's go. What we need other two stories. So second story, user story. This one will be from Pierre. He also uses web to check every detail about the trip once it has been defined. In this moment, I'm more inspired about Jocelyn. So she also used the website to check every detail about the trip once it has been defined. Jocelyn wants to save time and money, and she wants for her and her family a fully managed luxury tour around a foreign unknown city. So, okay. Traveler itinerary definition. Traveler itinerary. Trip itinerary. So, as a traveler, I want to be able to receive and check a proposal of trip itinerary. After I complete the interview form, so that I'm sure not to spend time in a trip which I do not identify with. No, this is more about save time and money. So I'm sure I can obtain the type of trip I expect, saving money and time, leveraging the knowledge, the territory knowledge of those who organize it. So Cicero is the territory tour, local tour organized by locals. Luxury local tour organized by locals. Okay. So I want to be able to express what to expect from my trip, so that I'm sure not to spend time in a trip which I do not identify with. Example, just a normal touristic village for drunk parents. Okay, so second user story, I defined it as the possibility to receive and check a proposal of trip itinerary after I complete the interview form, so that I'm sure I can obtain the type of trip I expect, saving money and time, leveraging the territory knowledge of those who organize it. Okay. Third story. As a picky traveler, I want to be able to receive and check a proposal of my trip itinerary after I complete the interview form, so that I can, as a picky traveler who observes. No, I would say that as a traveler, this is a story about Pierre. As a traveler, I want to be able to receive and check a proposal of trip itinerary after I complete the interview form, so that I'm sure I can obtain the type of trip I expect, saving money and time leveraging. So, moreover, I want to be able to ask for modifications. And to be able to receive and check a proposal of itinerary after I complete the interview form. Moreover, I want to be able to ask for modifications, so that I'm sure I can obtain exactly the type of trip I expect. And yet saving money and time, leveraging the territory knowledge of those who organize it. Nice. Therefore, the third user story will be about Jocelyn as a romantic traveler. I want to be able to access a trip timeline which contains details about every activity we have been through and related multimedia, so that I can share my memories with my dear people, my friends and family. Nice. Therefore, I think we completed the exercises.
Examples of personas for our online travel portal. Karen is a busy businesswoman. In this second activity, you were asked to write personas and user stories for your case study. Here are a couple of examples of personas for our online travel portal. Karen is a busy businesswoman who likes to take luxury weekend breaks, often booked at the last minute. A typical booking comprises of a hotel and flight. Recommendations play a major role in the choice Karen makes, as does customer feedback. Karen likes to perform all operations from her phone. Andrew is a student who likes to travel home to visit parents and also take vacations twice yearly. His primary concern is cost, and he will always book the lowest price travel, regardless of convenience. Andrew has no loyalty and will use whichever retailer can provide the best deal. Here are a couple of examples of user stories for our online travel portal. For the search for flight and hotel feature, I could write, as a traveler, I want to search for a flight-hotel combination to a destination on dates of my choice so that I can find the best price. For the supply hotel inventory feature, I could write, as a hotel operator, I want to bulk supply hotel inventory so that Click Travel can sell it on my behalf. For the analyze sales performance feature, I could write, as a Click Travel manager, I want to analyze the sales performance data of all of our suppliers so that I can identify poor performers and help them improve.
Okay, maybe we are missing a persona which is not a user. Let's see. Writing user stories. Let's see. Writing user personas. Example persona, first persona, second persona. I will add a third persona. So Mike is a trip manager, trip director who wants to organize a trip for some foreigners coming to his city. He opens Cicero's calendar and lists his availability. He also uses the website to check every new request for trips where having a look at the details. Check every new request for trips. Organized by him. Mike wants to provide his users with fully managed luxury tour around his city. To facilitate his work, he can list a catalog of places and experiences. He's a detail-focused person, and after checking out about the customers requiring trip, he wants to propose some an itinerary and he wants to receive feedbacks on the post itinerary. He wants to be able to cooperate. with customers which need a slight change in the proposed itinerary. Mhm. So it says it's a mobile app. Mm. Or it can be a chatbot. Yeah, it's just better to use a combination which mainly bases itself on website, but with the nuance that all the interactions are made, all like the chats, conversation, decisions, I would say could be made, yeah, through the website. I don't know. It's just an exercise. For now, I will relax, but it's interesting to think about this so that I can share my memories with friends and family. Okay, so we have all our user stories. Yeah, we have this Mike, which is a trip director who wants to organize a trip for some foreigners coming to his city. He opens Cicero's calendar and lists his availability. He also uses the website to track every new request for trips organized by him. Mike wants to provide his user with fully managed luxury tour around his city. To facilitate his work, he can list a catalog of places and experiences. He's a detail focused person, and after checking every detail about the new customers requiring a trip, he wants to be able to cooperate with customers which need a slight change in the proposed itinerary. Okay. Well, nice. Let's continue.
Requirements in place. service well, it is important to understand which behaviors matter and how to measure and evaluate these behaviors. These must always be considered in the context of the constraints, which are usually time, funding, and people. Then we consider what can be achieved. The type of system being evaluated determines the data that can be measured. For example, for user-facing systems, was a request responded to, which refers to availability, how long did it take to respond, which refers to latency, how many requests can be handled, which refers to throughput. For data stored systems, how long does it take to read and write data? That's latency. Is the data there when we need it? That's availability. If there is a failure, do we lose any data? That's durability. The key to all of these items is that the questions can be answered with data gathered from these services. Business decision makers want to measure the value of projects. This enables them to better support the most valuable projects and not waste resources on those that are not beneficial. A common way to measure success is to use KPIs. KPIs can be categorized as business KPIs and technical KPIs. Business KPIs are a formal way of measuring what the business values, such as ROI, in relation to a project or service. Others include earnings before interest and taxes, or impact on users such as customer churn, or maybe employee turnover. Technical or software KPIs can consider aspects such as how effective the software is through page views, user registration, and number of checkouts. These KPIs should also be closely aligned with business objectives. As an architect, it is important that you understand how the business measures success of the systems that you design. Now, a KPI is not the same thing as a goal or objective. The goal is the outcome or result you want to achieve. The KPI is a metric that indicates whether you are on track to achieve the goal. To be the most effective, KPIs need an accompanying goal. This should be the starting point in defining KPIs. Then, for each goal, define the KPIs that will allow you to monitor and measure progress. For each KPI, define targets for what success looks like. Monitoring KPIs against goals is important to achieving success and allows readjustment based on feedback. As an example, a goal may be to increase turnover for an online store, and an associated KPI may be the percentage of conversions on the website. For KPIs to be effective, they must be specific rather than general. For example, user-friendly is not specific, it's very subjective. Section 508 accessible is much more specific. Measurable is vital because monitoring the KPIs indicates whether you're moving toward or away from your goal. Being achievable is also important. For example, expecting 100% conversions on a website is not achievable. Relevant is absolutely vital. Without a relevant KPI, the goal probably will not be met. In our example of increasing turnover, if we're improving the conversion rate, a subsequent increase in turnover should be achievable, assuming a similar number of users. Time-bound helps with measuring the KPI. Some KPIs are more sensitive to time. For example, is availability per day, per month, or per year? So to summarize, KPIs are used to measure success or progress toward a goal. Let's introduce service level terminology. To provide a given level of service to customers, it is important to define service level indicators or SLIs, objectives or SLOs, and agreements or SLAs. These are measurements that describe basic properties of the metrics to measure, the values those metrics should read, and how to react if the metrics cannot be met. Service level indicator is a quantitative measure of some aspect of the level of service being provided. Examples include throughput, latency, and error rate. Service level objective is an agreed upon target or range of values for a service level that is measured by an SLI. It is normally stated in the form of SLI is smaller than equal to target or lower bound, which is smaller than equal to SLI, smaller equal to upper bound. An example of an SLO is that an average latency of HTTP requests for our service should be less than 100 milliseconds. Service level agreement is an agreement between a service provider and a consumer. They define responsibilities for delivering a service and consequences when these responsibilities are not met. The SLA is a more restrictive version of the SLO. We want to architect a solution and maintain an agreed SLO so that we provide ourselves spare capacity against the SLA. Understanding what users want from a service will help inform the selection of indicators. The indicators must be measurable. For example, fast response time is not measurable, whereas HTTP GET requests that respond within 400 milliseconds aggregated per minute is clearly measurable. Similarly, highly available is not measurable, but percentage of successful requests over all requests aggregated per minute is measurable. Not only must indicators be measurable, but the way they are aggregated needs careful consideration. For example, consider requests per second to a service. How is the value calculated? By measurements obtained once per second, or by averaging requests over a minute? The once per second measurement may hide high request rates that occur in bursts of a few seconds. For example, consider a service that receives 1,000 requests per second on even numbered seconds and 0 requests on odd numbered seconds. The average request per second could be reported over a minute as 500. However, the reality is that the load at times is twice as large as the average. Similar averages can mask user experience when used for metrics like latency. It can mask the requests that take a lot longer to respond than the average. It is better to use percentiles for such metrics, where a high order percentile such as 99% shows worst case values, while the 50th percentile will indicate a typical case.
Okay. So now we still have some theory.
Objectives that help or improve the user experience. It is easy to define SLOs based around what is easy to measure rather than what is useful. For clarity, SLOs should specify how they are measured and the conditions when they are valid. Consider availability as measured with an uptime check over 10 seconds aggregated per minute. It is unrealistic, as well as undesirable, to have SLOs with a 100% target. Such a target results in expensive, overly conservative solutions that are still unlikely to reach the SLO. It is better to track the rate at which SLOs are missed and work to improve this. In many cases, 99% may be good enough availability and be far easier to achieve as well as engineer. It is also highly likely to be much more cost effective to run. The use case needs to be considered also. For example, if a HTTP service for photo uploads requires 99% of uploads to be complete within 100 milliseconds aggregated per minute, this may be unrealistic or overkill if the majority of users are using mobile phones. In such a case, an SLO of 80% is much more achievable and good enough. It is often okay to specify multiple SLOs. Consider the following. 99% of HTTP GET calls will complete in less than 100 milliseconds. This is a valid SLO, but it may be the case that the shape of the performance curve is important. In this case, the SLO could be written as follows. 90% of HTTP GET calls will complete in less than 50 milliseconds. 99% of HTTP GET calls will complete in less than 100 milliseconds. And 99.9% of HTTP GET calls will complete in less than 500 milliseconds. Selecting SLOs has both product and business implications. Often trade-offs need to be made based on constraints such as staff, time to market, and funding. As the slide states, the aim is to keep users happy, not to have an SLO that requires heroic efforts to maintain. Let me give you some tips on selecting SLOs. Do not make them too high. It is better to have lower SLOs to begin with and tighten them over time as you learn about the system instead of defining those that are unattainable and require a significant effort and cost to try and achieve. Keep them simple. More complex SLIs can obscure important changes in performance. Avoid absolute values. To have an SLO that states 100% availability is unrealistic. Such an SLO increases the time to build, complexity, and cost to operate, and in most cases is highly unlikely to be required. Minimize SLOs. A common mistake is to have too many SLOs. The recommendation is to have just enough SLOs to give coverage of the key system attributes. In summary, good SLOs should reflect what the users care about. They work as a forcing function for development teams. A poor SLO will result in a significant amount of wasted work if it is too ambitious, or a poor product if it is too relaxed. An SLA is a business contract between the service provider and the customer. A penalty will apply if the service provider does not maintain the levels agreed on. Not every service has an SLA, but all services should have SLOs. As with SLOs, it is better to be conservative with SLAs because it is too difficult to change or remove SLAs that offer little value or cause a large amount of work. In addition, because they can have a financial implication through compensation to the customer, setting them too high can result in unnecessary compensation being paid. To provide protection and some level of safety, an SLA should have a threshold that is lower than the SLO. This should always be the case. Let's consider an example of a service, an SLI, SLO, and SLAs for the service. The service is an HTTP endpoint accessed using HTTP GET. The SLI is the end-to-end latency of successful HTTP responses, that is HTTP 200s. These are averaged over 1 minute. The SLO has been agreed that the latency of 99% of the responses must be less than or equal to 200 milliseconds. The SLA is set that the user is compensated if the 99th percentile latency exceeds 300 milliseconds. The SLA has clearly built a buffer over the SLO, which means that even if the SLO is exceeded, there is some capacity before the SLA is broken. This is the wanted position in the relationship between SLO and SLA.
Okay, this makes sense. So I was looking that these modules do not have laboratories. They only have modules, quiz. Therefore, oh no, look here, building a DevOps pipeline, okay. Yeah, just a lab. So it's interesting, it's quite important. However, there's no practice here. Okay, I will try to maintain my focus, and I mean it's all important information, even it's kind of boring to study in this way. But yeah, let's go.
Activity, you will define SLIs and SLOs for your case study. Let's say you wanted to write an SLI and SLO for an online shopping application related to availability. The SLI is what you want to measure. For example, you might want to measure the fraction of successful versus unsuccessful HTTP responses from an API endpoint aggregated per day. The SLO is the target you're trying to achieve. For your online store's search for product service, that might be 99.95%. Here are a couple of more examples for an imaginary online bank. The SLI defines what you want to measure, like the fraction of 200 versus 500 HTTP responses from an API endpoint, or the time to last byte GET requests measured every 10 seconds aggregated per minute. The SLO defines the target you want to achieve, like 99.95% availability, or that 95% of requests will complete in under 300 milliseconds.
Okay, so let's just put impose this. Okay, we have to define SLEs and SLOs. Based on the requirements of your case study, fill in the table on the next slide with SLOs and SLEs and show in the example below. Okay, balance inquiry available 99.95%. So of course our travel interview form will need to be availability 99.95. This is important for us, therefore we want a high SLO, a difficult one. But imagine if some customers connect and they cannot complete the form, they will never get back. So the SLE for this SLO is fractions of 200 VS, 500 HTTP responses from API endpoint measured per day. Then we have traveler interview form. So yeah, I mean, this will be a post for us. Oh, sorry. So this again, and it will be 95 requests complete under availability available. Okay, travel interview form, success post. Success 99.95%. Fraction of 200 vs 500 HTTP HTTP responses to from a post request. Again, the traveler interview form. No, I mean itinerary needs to be available, and yeah, like if they require it, they need to receive it. And they need to receive it fast. So the itinerary again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the fuck, man? Delete row, delete row, delete row. Okay. 95 of request complete under. Okay. Nice, easy. time to last byte get request measured every 10 seconds aggregated per minute. Nice. So
You were asked to write SLIs and SLOs for your case study. Here are some example SLOs and SLIs for our travel portal application. Notice that the SLI describes what we're going to measure and how. For example, fraction of 200 versus 500 HTTP responses from API endpoint measured per month. This example is a way of measuring availability. The SLO represents the goal we're trying to achieve for a given SLI. For example, available 99.95% of the time. Feel free to pause the video to read through the other SLOs and SLIs for each user story.
okay, so we have these examples of SLEs and SLOs. Now we go with these module quits, and we'll quit here the class for today. So which best describes an SLO? Let's see, can you see it correctly? Yeah. So which best describes an SLO? Service limit objective. It's a target measure. It is a target measure you want your service to achieve. It is a contract. No, it is a short measurable description of an application feature. This is the SLE, I think. It is a measurable time-bound key performance indicator for your application. Using SMART criteria, which below will be the least effective KPI? Okay, let me see the SMART criteria again. It's here, right?
We will now move on to consider how to measure whether the technical and business requirements.
So the SMART criteria was
behaviors matter and how to measure and
nearly at the end. Okay, no, it wasn't at the end. It's in the middle of this video.
For KPIs to be effective, they must be specific rather than general. For example, user-friendly is not specific. It's very subjective. Section 508 accessible is much more specific. Measurable is vital because monitoring the...
Sorry, so section 508 accessible. Okay, so this is a standard. Equal web section. Okay, so I understand. They say that it has to be specific in the sense that, for example, you refer to standard, something which is objective, specific, measurable, achievable,
KPIs indicates whether your movements on a website is not achievable.
Relevant.
Improving the conversion rate, a subsequent increase in turnover should be achievable, assuming a similar number of users.
Time bound. Okay. So this is how a KPI can be defined as effective, smart. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Using SMART criteria, which below will be the least effective KPI. Clicks per session, page views per hour. So we have a time bound here. This is specific. This is measurable, achievable, relevant. I mean, it could be relevant and time bound. User experience design for sure. Okay. Which most accurately describes a user story? It is a requirement of the system you are developing. Sorry, which most accurately describes a user story? Okay, so what's a user story? Here, option 1, it says it's a requirement of the system you are developing. A user story. No, it's not strictly a requirement. It is a short description of a typical person using the system. No, it's a story. It is a narrative that describes the sequence of steps a typical user will perform to accomplish some task or work when using the system. It is a short description of a future written from the user's point of view. Yeah, it's from the user's point of view. Let's see. 100%. Cool. Okay. Therefore, now we have the module review.
Qualitative requirements are things that users care about, like features. We can express qualitative requirements in the form of user stories. In order to understand our users better, we should write personas. Quantitative requirements are things we can measure. We can express them as key performance indicators or KPIs. KPIs in software are things like user signups, clicks per sessions, completed purchases, or customer retention. We can also express quantitative requirements as SLOs and SLIs. These are lower level metrics, things like latency, availability, or response time.
Great. Therefore, we completed the first module of this course. It's a fully theoretical course. Theoretical in the sense that we're not putting our hands on labs. So theoretical, but at the same time, it looks like core concept for the architect career. Therefore, I'm really happy to find something like this, which is something I really miss, I think, in my experience from, or well, I understand these concepts, I have familiarity with them, but I never had the possibility to practice them in this context. So I'm happy to complete these modules. I'm happy to see you here in these videos. Thank you again.